Procedural content generation has received noteworthy enhancements in Unreal Engine 5.6 and 5.7. In Unreal Engine 5.7, PCG is now production ready. With better GPU-driven performance, you can create worlds and manage complex scenes more efficiently than before. This video covers important updates that can improve your process, including templates, new viewports, biome advancements, and more. Let's start with some of the updates within Unreal Engine 5.6, and then we'll take a look at what's been added in Unreal Engine 5.7. The first thing you will want to do when exploring PCG tools is turn on the Procedural Content Generation Framework plugin by going to Edit, Plugins, and searching for PCG. Enable the plugin and restart your project as needed. Now let's take a look at some of the new features. Let's begin with the node graph. Once you have the PCG plugin enabled, you can right-click in the content browser, go to PCG, and select PCG graph. New to Unreal Engine 5.6 is this template window where you can select a template graph as a starting point with pre-configured nodes and graph parameters. It is an easy way to pre-configure graphs for users of a system relying on PCG, or provide examples. Once you select your template of choice, hit Initialize. Now let's take a look at the updates within the graph here. One of the bigger updates to this window is the Data Viewport to preview data of any inspected node, helping you work in context with iterative workflows for both world and asset creation. This means you can preview points, textures, and meshes directly in this viewport while editing. Additionally, there is now a dedicated graph parameters panel that can be docked anywhere in the PCG graph editor. You now have easier access to create new constants or parameters by right-clicking and selecting graph parameters from the node palette. After creating your graph parameters, you have the ability to organize them by reordering parameters. Simply drag them to the desired location. Further organize by categorizing the parameters to keep your work clean and orderly. The node graph has also been updated to support inline constant, making it easier for you to create, drag and drop, and manipulate elements. You have the ability to enter constant values directly on the node input pins without having to create a separate constant node. Now let's move on to creating and editing biomes, which is now faster and more intuitive with the PCG Biome Core V2 plugin. To explore this update, you can enable two plugins by going to Edit, Plugins, enable PCG Biome Core, and PCG Biome Sample. Then restart your project. These plugins have received a big overhaul of the PCG-based tool to address performance, improve workflows, and add new features, such as per biome blending. Per biome blending gives you control over blending range, noise, and density. Additionally, you have support for layering multiple biomes instead of the previous binary behavior, giving you greater control to build rich, organic environments more efficiently. In general, these features are efficient in Unreal Engine 5.6 thanks to a main conceptual change for biomes. A new local biome core PCG component and graph produces point data per biome actor, so everything is defined and generated locally. The per biome points are then used in the global biome core, which only updates and spawns modified point data, improving workflow performance. With the updated biome sample, you can take a deeper look at how to leverage the new GPU functionalities, including the runtime GPU ground scatter example. This example leverages the PCG GPU landscape runtime virtual texture interface and microscattering, providing in-editor resources as you develop your own projects. As you are working on your own projects, you now have an improved debugging workflow. Open up a PCG graph to take a look. Within the debug window, the debug object tree view will dynamically populate with filtering. Unreal Engine 5.6 also has better error and warning display, improving your debug process. In general, Unreal Engine 5.6 advancements are geared towards improving your entire world building process with the updated procedural tools. To see more details about the improved performance and usability, check out the Unreal Engine 5.6 release notes, which go into greater detail on GPU data, execution efficiency, and more. Now let's take a look at Unreal Engine 5.7's latest updates of features as PCG becomes production ready. With Unreal Engine 5.7, performance and customization continues to improve. Let's dive in. First off, we have the PCG Editor mode, located in the drop-down button menu at the top of the viewport. This offers a library of customizable tools built on the PCG framework, including the ability to draw a spline, paint points, or create a volume. Each tool is linked to a PCG graph, enabling creators to have real-time parameter control and the ability to create new tools with no coding necessary, making world building easier than before. Within the PCG graph, there is now a new Polygon 2D data type, which takes input point or spline data and turns them into Polygon 2D. Following that, you have Create Surface from Polygon 2D, Offset Polygon, and Polygon Operations, allowing you to further curate your defined closed shapes. For spline data itself, there are two new operators called the spline intersection and split splines that provide additional ways for you to work with your data. These extensions increase the flexibility of the procedural content you can build with PCG, laying the groundwork to efficiently build spline-based elements in your scene. Want to extend the framework further? You now have access to custom data types in Unreal Engine 5.7, making it easier to create proprietary tool sets. Built on the procedural content generation framework in Unreal Engine 5.7 is the new experimental procedural vegetation editor, otherwise known as PVE. This enables you to create and edit high-quality, highly performant, nanite-ready Quixel Megaplant assets in real time, which are currently available on Fab. To utilize this, enable PVE by going to Edit, Plugins, and searching for Procedural Vegetation. PVE directly outputs nanite skeletal assemblies, supporting the latest nanite foliage advancements such as voxelation, bone-driven wind animation, and instanced assemblies. To take advantage of nanite foliage capabilities, enable the experimental nanite foliage in the project settings. Stay tuned for more updates on PVE and Quixel Megaplants. Now this wraps up some of the procedural content generation advancements in Unreal Engine 5.7. Both Unreal Engine 5.6 and 5.7 bring substantial improvements to your PCG workflow, with the goal of making creator workflows for building large worlds more powerful and efficient. With that, we wish you a happy and easier world building.